here in Cloudsdale where everything's awesome. How in Equestria can she think that tiny patch of clouds is Cloudsdale?
The same way he got you to think that sheep rock was a bona fide diamond?
Rarity, I think you're gonna need this. Hello everyone, I'm Keen947, aka Wolfkeen, and welcome to My Little Pony Vlogs for Season 2. Today I'm talking about Return of Harmony Part 2, written by M.A. Larson. So here we go guys, the second part of the Season 2 pilot. Now, last time I left you off, I talked about how much I loved Discord in the last episode. How, he was playing around with the main six. Well, he does more of that in this episode too. And this episode really does delve into many kinds of areas that I really do like. Let's get into it. So the episode starts with basically Discord breaking out into laughter. And of course, at that instant, Pinkie Pie actually is like, oh, what are you laughing at? Because, she doesn't want ponies laughing at her or anything like that. And this ends up leading into like a fight between Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy, because Fluttershy, being the a-hole that she's being right now, she's like, oh yeah? Well, ha ha. Like, goading Pinkie Pie on. And then Applejack got into a fight with Rarity, trying to, egg Rarity on, and Rarity ends up giving her like this crazy-ass kick to the face. Maybe that's where Fighting is Magic got its idea from. But anyways, Twilight's trying to figure out why is it that her friends are acting this way, and then goes to Discord saying that he's not playing fair. Twilight, Discord's the villain. Who says a villain has to play fair? I mean, even he says, like, I'm not playing fair? Perhaps we haven't met. And I'm like, yeah, duh, villain. And Twilight was like, how were we supposed to find the elements if you took away the maze before we were done? And he actually laughed at that, saying, I didn't hide the elements in the maze. And then shows Twilight what he said again to let her figure out what exactly was the message meant for. And after a while, she does actually figure it out. She thinks the elements are back home in Ponyville in her library. So they make their way back to the library, and Twilight is just like, we're seeing more of like this discorded world at this point. Twilight gets trampled by a bunch of rabbits, and then not only does it get dark instantaneously, the road is replaced by soap. Now we're just seeing Discord play around with the main six in more ways than one, because then he grabs Twilight saying, picture it, the chaos capital of the world, and then the sun goes down and Twilight's trying to look, like, I can't see anything, it's too dark. He's like, well, maybe you will, maybe you won't. Like, Discord in this episode really does prove how much of a troll he is in more ways than one. I dare say that he's almost as much of a troll as Hades from Kid Icarus Uprising. Because let's face it, Hades in Kid Icarus Uprising is always looking to take a shot at most of the characters in this story. I mean, come on. In one instance, that bike that Pit finds is like, hey, whatever that's called. And Hades is like, hey, who cares? Like, that's exactly what Discord is in more ways than one. So, of course, they start making their way back to Ponyville, and Ponyville looks like something out of Alice in Wonderland at this point. Like, Ponyville looks like something in Alice in Wonderland at this point. So it really does bring up a bit of ideas of like its design, because you see like the tiled floors and stuff like that, the discolored area, the floating trees and other stuff like that. Yeah, it looks like something out of Alice in Wonderland. So Twilight gets back to the library, but her friends are getting worse. Like, they're actually getting worse, her friends. Considering how they were before, now they're getting worse. To the point where they're starting to become more and more unbearable for Twilight to deal with. Hell, Fluttershy actually takes a bucket of water, dumps it on Twilight, and then smashes the bucket on her head. And then when Twilight does, when Spike finds the Elements of Harmony book, Fluttershy hits him in the face with a scroll, takes the book, and then plays keep away with it, with Pinkie Pie, Applejack. Like, Twilight's friends are becoming more and more unbearable as the scenes go on, and Twilight is just at her wit's end. To the point where she actually gets into a fight with her friends. Like a legitimate fight. Like, she actually dives in and gets into a full-on fight against, like, her friends. And you actually hear every instance of it. So when she does get the book back, she looks inside, and inside are the Elements of Harmony. And pretty much she says, like, thanks to us working together, we found the book. And she just says the line bluntly, you don't even care, do you? And they all say no. So she pretty much says, I'm done at this point. She pretty much gives up at this point, like saying like her friends are not complete jerks. She gives them the elements of harmony, but there's still one missing. Rainbow Dash. So of course another meme gets started with Spike when Twilight does, congratulations, you're the new Rainbow Dash, now let's go! And so they go to confront Discord. Discord here, like, now Discord comes around saying like, it looks like you found your elements of harmony. I've been defeated, ladies. Fire when ready. Like, is it me, or does Discord here act like Dante from DMC4? Like, is it me, or does he really, is he, like, he acts like Dante from DMC4. I mean, think about it. The goddess, like, you know, the goddess comes down, descending on the earth. Dante doesn't bat an eye. This guy having an over-dramatic scene, he turns it into an over-dramatic contest. Like, Dante in DMC4 was so over-the-blown, idiotic, and stupid that it was just ridiculously fun to look at. That's what Discord is doing, and he does more of that in the Season 4 finale. I swear to God, Discord... Like, Discord has reminded me of so many characters I love. He reminds me of Sheogorath, he reminds me of the Riddler, and now he reminds me of Dante. Like, how do you remind me of 3 different characters? So, of course, they try to use the elements of harmony, which fail, because, of course, they don't have Rainbow Dash. So, pretty much, Discord says he won at this point, and her friends pretty much give up at this point. Like, you know, her friends are like, we're done, we're no longer friends, I'm leaving, gone. And Twilight even says this line, like, with friends like you, who needs enemies? But when she says that line, she finally reaches her breaking point and becomes discorded herself. And then we get a very somber scene where she cries, and then you see, like, a broken heart in the tear. That scene is pretty powerful, because how would you feel if you lost your best friends at this point? Like, in these kind of terms, how would you feel if you lost your best friends? Even if your best friends were being jerks to you, if you were to stop being friends with them, you would not know how to feel for the next few days. As a matter of fact, Twilight is so destroyed with the fact that she's no longer friends with them, that she's planning on moving away from Ponyville. However, what stops her is the fact that Princess Celestia was sending back all the friendship letters to Twilight through Spike. And as she's reading the friendship letters that she sent, she starts regaining herself and remembering, you know, how powerful her friendship with her friends are. And so when a new resolve, she now goes after all of her friends to help them re-see, you know, to help them re-see how powerful their friendship is. By basically using, like, this memory spell, I believe. Which basically she uses this... First she uses it on Applejack, and once she finally regains herself, she apologizes for not only acting the way that she was while discorded, but for allowing herself to go that far. Then, of course, we keep going through each member of the main 6, you know, regaining their memories and no longer being discorded, until we come to Rainbow Dash, which they don't know where she is. Of course, Pinkie Pie finds her in an instant. I mean, the fact that she can keep up with Rainbow Dash and know where she is all the time, from Griffin the Brush-Off and Party of One, it's not unheard of. So, of course, they can't get Rainbow Dash to see reasoning or anything like that. So, now their plan is to try to, well, of course, get her with the rope and then, you know, help her recover her memories. Of course, Fluttershy fails this epically when she explains to Rainbow Dash what she was going to do to her. I mean, I'm not going to say the line because of the context of it. So Rainbow Dash flies away, and of course, the main 6 give chase by having Fluttershy pull the hot air balloon. Applejack ends up catching Rainbow Dash with one of the ropes, but they forgot to tie it down, and it drags Rarity and Pinkie right off the hot air balloon. Then, at one point, Fluttershy is having problems trying to keep up with Rainbow Dash at this point, and Twilight ends up giving her motivation, saying, if you can't do this, Discord wins, and Fluttershy says, that big, dumb meanie! And then, flies to the extent that she can keep up with Rainbow Dash. So, they finally do catch her at one point, tying her back down to the ground, and they end up, helping her get her memory back, and then they finally go to confront Discord again. They learned a valuable lesson here, showing that, how powerful their friendship is and how tough it is, but it's worth fighting for. That is a good lesson in many cases, saying that, yes, being friends is not always easy, and sometimes it'll be tough, but it's no doubt that it's worth fighting for. And I definitely agree with this statement. So, of course, they use the elements of harmony, and, of course, we get the Taste the Rainbow, like, for the second time in a row. And, Discord is turned back to stone. The funny thing is, like, during that scene when they were going to turn Discord to stone, he still didn't give any kinds of, like, you know, he still didn't care. Like, when they were activating the elements of harmony, he was just like, not caring whatsoever. Like, I know people will say, oh, that's because Discord was being arrogant there. Come on, it's Discord. I'm pretty sure he didn't expect that to happen to him right away. I mean, you saw when you saw the elements activating the first time, he thought something was going to happen, but in reality it didn't. So I'm guessing he assumed it wasn't going to happen again. Whatever. Then we get, like, this scene that's, like, straight out of, like, Star Wars. Like, straight out of Star Wars Episode 4. Which I think everybody has made that comparison to. We see the new stained glass window, and that's pretty much Return of Harmony Part 2. This is my favorite pilot. This is my favorite pilot so far. Everyone knows my favorite seasonal pilot is Season 4's pilot. But right now, as of now, this is my favorite pilot of My Little Pony. It did a great job introducing a really good villain. The lesson that was learned in this episode was insanely good. The animation was smooth and crisp. The humor was spot on in more ways than one. And the character development that goes on within each member of the main six is also very good. I like the idea that they made it that the main six were, were susceptible to flaws, weakness. And they were able to touch upon this by having them learn, not to fall down that path again. This was an excellent episode in more ways than one. And honestly, when I saw this episode, I was like, if this is the quality that Season 2 is going to have, then I expect high things out of Season 2. And luckily, they held up in a good chunk of episodes. A lot of the episodes throughout Season 2 have high quality, great lessons, great stories, and overall, just everything you're looking forward to. There are still a few stinkers in Season 2, I admit that, but considering everything, this season pilot was amazing, and it set the bar for what Season 2 could be capable of. So all in all, not much else for me to say about the Season 2 pilot. Part 1 and Part 2 were amazingly good, and honestly, I'll watch them again and again no matter what. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for now. So until next time guys, I'm Keen47, aka Wolfkeen. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time guys, take care.
Whoa!